Hey folks. So we're picking up left off yesterday, same set of notes. The PowerPoint that I put in the classroom yesterday, we're still on energy flow and feeding relationships. So keep in mind, energy moves along in a one-way path. Energy flows in one direction in an ecosystem. It starts from the sun, then it moves on to the autotrophs, your plants, and then it moves on to your heterotrophs, your consumers. And keep in mind that the producers, autotrophs, that will be the biggest part of any food web ecosystem. And also keep in mind that the consumers, there's going to be different levels of consumers. Okay. All right. So feeding relationships are established, connecting producers and consumers based on whom eats whom. So the first way we look at the feeding relationships are by looking at their different trophic levels. So these are the different trophic levels. Producers, trophic level 1. Primary consumers, trophic level 2. Secondary consumers, like a frog, trophic level 3. Fourth level for your trophic level, that would be tertiary consumers. Fifth level, quaternary consumers, like the hawk. Okay, so on and so forth. So a feeding level is a trophic level. Just think trough, it's like a feeder, like where pigs eat. So trophic level is a feeding level. Each step in a food web or a food chain is called a trophic level. Okay, so the producers will always make up the first trophic level and the consumers the second, third, or higher level. Each organism depends on the trophic level below it. Food chains. So food chains show you the energy of passage through an ecosystem. They only show you a series of steps in which organisms transfer energy by eating or being eaten. They will only go in one direction, and they'll have only a total of probably 4 or 5. The only thing missing here is the sun. Sun gives its energy to the flower. The flower gives its energy to this caterpillar. Caterpillar gives energy to the frog gives energy to the snake gives energy to the owl. Notice that the arrow goes towards the thing that's eating. Okay, so if the owl's getting the arrow, that means it's getting the energy. Okay, so keep in mind, most common mistake with the arrows is that you guys want to reverse them and say, oh, but it's pointing to the snake because it's eating the snake. No, the arrow gets the arrow, the owl gets the arrow, gets the energy. Okay, that's a food chain. A food web is different. Notice there's a lot more arrows. A food web will show you all of the creatures in an ecosystem. Okay, it's based on many interactions, complex interactions, all the feeding relationships. Notice that the plants are down the bottom here. I'm just going to move this around so you can see it. The plants all here, there's no separated plants, but certainly sometimes you'll see the different plants, like you might see they have it listed out as, say, grass or bushes or weeds or trees. And then they give the energy to the first level consumers. So all these guys will be the first level consumers. Then you have some second level consumers here. Okay. Then you have some third level consumers. In this case and in this case. Okay. Sometimes a third level consumer can also be a fourth level consumer. And also sometimes a second level consumer can also be a third or a fourth level consumer. It depends on the food chain you're looking at. So for example, plants give energy to the cardinal bird. The cardinal bird gives its energy to the fox. So in this case, the fox is only a second level consumer. But let's look at the fox somewhere else. So in this chain, plants give energy to the herbivorous insects, who give energy to the spiders, who gives energy to the insectivorous birds, who give energy to the foxes. So in this case, the fox is a 1, 2, 3, fourth level consumer. Okay, also known as a quaternary consumer. So it depends on the food chain you're looking at, depends on what level the consumer is. Okay. All right. Um, so we're going to have some questions about some of these food webs coming up. So make sure you pay attention. You go back and you watch this if you're not sure how to do food webs. Okay. And you got to count the steps to figure out what level consumers they are. Just keep that in mind. If it gets the energy, it gets the arrow. Also keep that in mind. So, questions out there might be like, are there any omnivores in this food web? Looking at the food web, you see no omnivores. Now, an omnivore would eat both plants and animals. So I don't see any of these consumers eating both plants and an animal. Okay? So just keep that in mind. There are no omnivores here. That's not always going to be the case. Sometimes you will have omnivores in ecosystems. Just not the case in this one. Okay? All right, that's all for now. Make sure you do the questions. Make sure you check out the Antarctic Food Web website. Okay, you're going to actually build an Antarctic food web. And then I want to write you to either write down a piece of paper and take a picture of it, or you can, if you can figure out how to type with arrows, you can retype the food web that you made. Okay? All right, have a nice day. Goodbye.